What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling, man. And we're going to be giving our predictions for AEW Full Gear that is taking place this Saturday from Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. Donnie, with the limited amount of build I feel like AEW has had for this show, the card is pretty fucking stacked, bro.
I think that this is going to be a very good card. I think a lot of people are really underestimating this match card because of the Dynamites Dynamite and Ring of Honor. The builds, they have not really been the best, but I think the match cards overall, they're going to over-deliver, and a lot of people are going to be surprised. But before we get into our predictions, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now. Turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know, the grind is real. So a couple things before we also get into our predictions. The first thing I want to say, I was at AEW Dynamite last night. I'm not going to really talk about the experience that much. I'll save that for the We Are Wrestling talk show that comes out Saturday in the afternoon. But I will say, for, AEW Dynamite, the vlog, that should be coming out hopefully on Sunday or Monday. And the second thing I also want to say, Saturday night, Full Gear, we will be doing a watch-along here on the We Are Wrestling channel, and we'll be having some special guests with us. So you definitely want to stay tuned.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. I've been looking forward to that, for a while. It's weird, man. Like, we got Full Gear Saturday, and then next Saturday, you and Ben, I'll be riding solo that night, but you and Ben will be in Boston for Survivor Series. I'll be sitting here in the comfort of my own home, watching it, streaming, doing a watch along solo. It's gonna be a good time, man.
It's absolutely nuts that all these professional wrestling business companies right now are all in the Northeast area, because WWE is going to Hartford Friday for SmackDown, as this is recording or being uploaded.
Yep.
It will be, in Hartford Friday. And then, next Saturday, they're in Boston. AEW was in Bridgeport last night. They're going to be in New Jersey. And the reason why I chose not to go to Full Gear live was because I wanted to have a front row experience at Bridgeport. So with my, the money I had fun with, that, I was able to have fun with, I wanted to put it all towards Dynamite. And,
You want to show off your little present to yourself that you got last night?
Oh, I'm going to be doing a whole championship, replica review on the channel hopefully next week. But it's been
Look out for that.
it's been a crazy, train of events. There's a lot of things going on, and it's awesome that right now, wrestling as a whole, we are winning. And let's get into these predictions. What do you say, Danny?
Let's get into it, bro. We have 11 matches. It's going to be a long video, man.
That is right. So, starting off the card, we have for the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill defending her championship against Nyla Rose.
Yeah, this match is one of the matches that I don't care about. I don't like this feud. I am a fan of Jade Cargill. I do like what she's been doing over the last couple of months or whatever. But ever since, she got mixed up with this feud with Nyla Rose, I feel like, her worth has sort of went down a little bit. And I said this before we started recording. This definitely should be a pre-show match. I don't understand why it has to be on the actual card. It's just, this match is probably going to go 2 minutes, if that. You know what I mean?
So here's my thoughts on this match. Honestly, yes, the build wasn't as good as it should have been. I think because a lot of the storyline between the two happened a lot on Rampage, which a lot of people really aren't interested in Rampage, which, Tony Khan really needs to figure something out there with it. But I do gotta say, the storyline build for this match, the video package was very good. Better than I expected it to be. I'm a big fan of Jade Cargill, and I understand the booking decision here, why they want to have these two go at it. because I think, Jade Cargill, she has this undefeated streak. She's, gone through every woman on this roster. And a former AEW Women's World Champion, Nyla Rose, probably one of the bigger women on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Jade Cargill's undefeated, so it only makes sense that she has to go through, the beast. And I think that they definitely could have done a way better job with this build, but I'm
Yeah.
happy that they're giving two homegrown AEW talent an opportunity.
I am, but when it comes to like shows like this, you got to have a lot of build to it. You got to,
Mm-hmm.
make people invested in this kind of story that you're trying to tell. And I
Definitely
just
should have
feel
done,
like
I think they could have benefited more from outside segments. Like doing something in
probably.
like a park or like in like a diner. Like, sometimes those vignettes and segments can go a very far way.
You know what this whole thing reminded me of a little bit?
Yeah.
Not not nearly as good. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm trying to say. But remember back in like I think it was like 97 or 98 when Stone Cold had the broken skull belt and I think The Rock stole it and threw it over the fucking bridge. Remember
Yeah.
that? Nyla Rose stealing the TBS title from Jade Cargo. I mean, there's just some remnants there that, remind me of that time or whatever. But just like this build, bro, like I'm not invested in it. Like I don't care about the story because they haven't done enough to get me invested into it.
Here's the thing I feel like with Nyla Rose. I feel like, do not get me wrong, Vicky Guerrero is great,
By the way,
but
rest in
not.
peace, Eddie Guerrero. It was just his anniversary of his passing recently. So
But with Vicky Guerrero, with how talented she is, I'm sorry, she's not the one for Nyla Rose. I feel like they could
mhm.
definitely find a better manager for her
it's
that could
like
benefit more.
it's almost like they don't know what to do with Vicky Guerrero. Because remember when Andrade came into AEW, she was with him, and then she just
That was a good pairing.
magically disappeared, and now she's with Nyla Rose or whatever.
Well, she
It's
does a
almost like
lot of well, she does do a lot of behind the scene work with AEW with their AEW heels. It's like empowering for like women and stuff.
yeah,
She's
but it's
like one of
almost
their top like representatives for that.
it's just almost like they don't know what to do with her. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
on TV they have no clue, and I feel like Nyla Rose, it's not helping her at all having Vicky by her side. I think she definitely needs somebody else. But now, who do you have winning this match?
Um, I gotta go with Jade just because, like, they're sort of building her up to be like this unstoppable force. She hasn't been able to get pinned yet. But I
Mm-hmm.
was watching somebody's review of Dynamite last night, and they said that, it's easy to be one of the top women or put yourself in that kind of category when you haven't faced, a lot of the main roster women talent. Like I don't remember her having a match with Britt Baker. I don't remember her having a match with, with all these guys. So I mean, are they really gonna have her lose her first match to Nyla Rose, or are they just gonna
Mm-hmm.
continue to expand to see what else they can do?
Yeah, no, that's a really good take there. And honestly, I think Jade Cargill, she's gonna retain the title. I think having Nyla Rose as, an
What
opponent,
if
it's gonna be a good build.
what if have you ever thought about this? Now, hear me out. This is just speculation. It could happen, it could not. What if Vicky Guerrero turns on Nyla Rose and joins Jay Cargill?
No, Jade Cargill does not need Vicky Guerrero. That would be
That
clever.
just yeah, but that would just be able to add Vicky Guerrero into a prominent storyline. So she's not
Mm-hmm.
just like put here, put there, put there,
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't know what to do with her, bro. What else are they gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
would that
no.
would at least put some kind of interest behind it.
Nah, the only thing interesting with Vicky Guerrero is if they gave her like a general manager role.
She
She
needs she
really
needs to go back
strived
to
with that.
She needs to go back to WWE and start flirting with Edge and have like a whole love triangle between Edge, Beth, and Vicky. Now that'd be hysterical.
Honestly, like Vicky Guerrero definitely should go back to WWE like on screen because
Mm.
with AEW, I feel like they just have no idea. But I think Jade Cargill, she's gonna retain the championship, and I think next pay per view coming up, which I think will be Revolution in February,
Yep.
she will have a bigger opponent, and I think that's where she's going to get dethroned.
I could see it.
But, that's a whole different discussion for another day. Moving on now to our next match that we got to give our predictions on. It is for the AEW World Trios Championships. We have Death Triangle versus the returning Elite.
As much as I like Death Triangle, bro, I already know where this is going. These guys, they never officially lost the title. They got stripped of the titles, and they're coming back that automatically get a titles match. The Elite are gonna beat Death Triangle, and it sucks. Like I love, last night you got to see it firsthand. That match last night for the trios titles, man, that was shit was fucking nuts.
AR Fox, he definitely deserves to be signed.
Yeah.
100%.
I heard he's been in the business like 15 years. He did like Lucha Underground and all kinds of stuff. So I,
He's
I
very
mean,
good.
I love the pairing between him and Top Flight. But I like Death Triangle as the trio champions. It's different. Like I feel like out of every champion on the fucking show, they have defended their titles more than anybody else. In my
Mm-hmm.
personal opinion, that's not an ROH title. So I mean, if I I gotta say the Elite are gonna come back and win because just knowing Tony Khan, that's his bread and butter pretty much, and it just sucks that that triangle's gonna get screwed over like that.
I think there's going to be a reason that screws Death Triangle over in this match. I think the Elite will be coming back as faces because I know that's what they were like somewhat doing when they came back. I
Yeah.
think that the Elite will win back the trio championships, and I think after the match, the lights are going to be going out, and I think House of Black is going to, take out the Elite. And we're going to begin our next, feud for the next couple months because they have been showing some, vignette teases of,
Yeah.
the House of Black being back.
Yeah, it's just I'm happy they're coming back. I'm looking forward to that. But Tony Khan needs to, he needs to work on his booking skills. He has so much talent that he could build the entire company around Wardlow, even Samoa Joe, the House of Black, whatever. And he just, Miro, where the hell is Miro?
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many guys that I would like to see, and I don't know. I could have dealt with the Elite being off TV for a little bit longer.
I'm very excited to see them back, and I think that this is going to be a great trios match. I think, the Elite, they're going to win. House of Black makes their
Have,
return. And what AEW needs to do with their trios division, and I'll keep this one short because we have a lot of matches we have to cover.
yeah.
They need to create more trio tag teams in this division. Like Top Flight and AR Fox, that was a great pairing. Let's build some chemistry there. Let's, add him in there somehow, some way, and, give us some vignettes or something.
Have you ever
Dark
thought about
Order.
this? Now you may disagree with me wholeheartedly on this, but have you ever thought of maybe Kenny Omega turning on the Bucks and then stripping him away from the Elite, having him have a singles run and having him feud with MJF?
Could happen. Never doubt anything when it comes to an AEW pay per view because as much as some of these matches might seem very predictable, you never know until that when you're watching the match live.
Because this
Because with
could
AEW pay per views, they are the most unpredictable pay per views, I think, out of any wrestling promotion.
be like sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? It could be like Kenny Omega blaming the Bucks, as the reason why he got suspended. And he could say they could sort of in a way not like reference in first person or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but they could like have little remnants of like what happened at the media scrum, and Kenny Omega's pissed off at the Bucks because of what happened, and they're the reason, they're the blame for him getting suspended or whatever, so he could turn on them. And I mean, let's face it, MJF is gonna need some main event caliber talent to feud with. Who is he gonna feud with again? Moxley? We're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna want to see that again.
Yeah. Also, another trios group that could definitely come in, I feel like, after the Elite win. I could definitely see like 3 members of the firm coming out and attacking them afterwards because they have been pushing them, and I think with, the proper build, they could definitely they could definitely be pretty good on
You know,
AEW TV.
when Morrissey came into AEW, I was happy, and then I got disappointed real fucking quick because I was hoping, man, I was hoping to be able to see Enzo. Enzo needs to be back on TV, bro. That
He's
dude is
so
so
good.
entertaining.
So good.
And their chemistry has not fucking disparted at all, bro. We saw him at Northeast Wrestling several months ago, like earlier on in the year. Like, we need to see Enzo back on a national platform, you know?
I definitely agree. So moving forward now to our next match on the card. This one is not confirmed yet because of course we are recording this on Thursday. Friday we have Rampage, and we still have the world title eliminator qualifier match, Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks, and the winner of that will be going against Ethan Page at Full Gear, and the winner of this will be the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship for Winter is Coming.
Yeah, man. Can you believe Winter is Coming is like a month away? Um, this match is. I like Ricky Starks. I do feel like he's lost a lot of momentum. So is Powerhouse Hobbs. Like what I'm saying, all these guys,
And
nobody had.
it's because AEW needs to separate Ring of Honor from AEW. Just, move Ring of Honor to like Dark or something. Like you said. That's the issue here. Friggin' ROH is basically just like taking so much away from AEW, I feel like, as a whole. And a lot of these people that were once very, very over aren't as over as much now because AEW, they're trying to also push Ring of Honor while they're trying to focus on their promotion, and that's not working.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. They're trying to get a TV deal. I get it. That's why they keep putting them on TV. But you're hurting the AEW fans as a whole. Because let
That
me tell you, Worcester, the show I went to last July, to this show in Bridgeport last night,
mhm.
there was a lot more empty seats at this show last night than there was in Worcester. Every seat was filled up in that arena in Worcester. Bridgeport, yeah, there were still a lot of people, but they definitely could have filled it up more. That's why they need to separate ROH with AEW and make everybody happy.
I feel like for the time being, ROH, they need to have their own shows on YouTube on like Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening sometime, around dinner time, 5 o'clock, have, ROH go live or whatever on YouTube. Like, and they can promote it on Dynamite the previous night. Make sure you guys tune in for Ring of Honor tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, whatever it is. I mean,
Literally.
I feel like that would be a good utilization for not only social media, but it'll be able to separate the talent from the ROH talent to the AEW talent. The shows won't feel so crammed in. You'll be able to get more legitimate AEW guys on the fucking show instead of just having just Ring of Honor guys and then maybe like 3 or 4 AEW guys throughout the show. You know what I mean?
All right, so Friday, Rampage, Lance Archer, Ricky Starks. Who do you think is going to be facing Ethan Page?
I gotta go with Ricky Starks because Lance Archer feels like they don't know what to do with, and he hasn't getting built at all.
I don't even remember the last time Lance Archer had won an important match. Oh, wait. Never. Because even when he first came into AEW, went against Cody for the TNT title in the finals to determine the first champion, Archer lost.
And
so
that's
he's never been over at all.
And that's a shame, bro. Like, how could you fumble a guy like Lance Archer? That dude is gifted. That dude is big. Like, that dude is like, imagine the match if with the proper build. Imagine the matches for the TBS title you'd be able to have with Lance Archer and fucking Wardlow, bro.
He could have been a part of that big, triple threat match. They could have done something there, made a fatal 4-way, but I think it's going to be Ricky Starks over Lance Archer. I think we're going to get Starks versus Ethan Page, two of, the upcoming rising stars in AEW, going at it for an opportunity for the world title. I think out of all the matches on this card, Ricky Starks versus Ethan Page is the most unpredictable match on this card because either way can definitely, determine what is going to happen after MJF and Mox.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I want to know, I would like to see Ricky Starks get put in a very good situation. Now, do I think there's a possibility he could beat MJF, or got to go with the kayfabe? If Moxley retains, I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think Ricky Starks
Mhm.
is there yet, but I do think that him and Moxer, him and MJF would be able to have one hell of a match.
I will tell you one person that is getting there, Ethan Page. He's been
Mhm.
doing a really good
His
job ever
match
since
last
they
night
did
was
with the
Bandito.
firm.
His match last night with Bandito was fucking good.
No, but with Stokely, Ethan Page is looking like a legitimate star. And
Mhm.
I'm noticing it a lot ever since the firm, came to AEW and Ethan Page got away from Scorpio Sky and Lambert. He has been really shining. And I definitely could see Ethan Page winning this match. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's all going to determine Mox MJF because, of course, MJF, keeps saying the whole devil thing. What if the firm and MJF are still working together? Or is the firm really against MJF and they want to build MJF versus the firm, for the next couple months after MJF, captures the title? There's a lot of scenarios here because also Ricky Starks had that heart to heart, promo in Worcester, the show
Mhm.
I went to back in July.
And
And
Powerhouse Hobbs took him out.
a lot of the crowd is still they still love Ricky Starks.
You
Not
know, I
maybe not as much as maybe they did in July, but he could be an underdog in the storyline with MJF. That's why I'm saying it could definitely go both ways.
you know what when that whole scenario happened when Hobbs, turned on Starks or whatever that night, they had all the fucking tools to build up one hell of a storyline, one hell of a feud, very compelling TV, and they just fumbled it. I don't know about you, but they just
I
fumbled
agree.
it.
No, I definitely agree with that. They could have done a lot better. Definitely could have put maybe Taz in there or something. But they just want him, I guess, to be full time commentary now. But
Mhm.
who do you have winning this match? Ricky Starks or Ethan Page if you had to pick one? Do you want me to give you mine first?
Like, I would love to see Ricky Starks win, but I feel like Ethan Page is on a whole nother level right now, and I feel like he's getting a legitimate push that Ricky Starks is unfortunately not getting. So I have to go. I have to
Dude,
go
you
with
know
Ethan Page.
something? If they didn't rush the Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs thing, Ricky Starks could have been in the firm and could have been in a
Hmm.
bit better position now than he is.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I think should happen. And because this can definitely go either way, so I'm just going to go with what I think is best.
Hmm.
Ethan Page should win this match and keep the firm away from MJF. Let them, do separate things. Keep MJF on his own and just, let the firm continue doing what they're doing because that's going to keep Ethan Page at a star level. And then eventually, you can get the Gun Club and, Morrissey as like trios. Moriarty is already going against Hook on Rampage, so he's already doing matches and stuff. So, like, there's really a lot of potential with the firm if they continue to keep him on TV. But you can't skip a week. If they skip a week with the firm, all that momentum is just going to go
Yep. I
literally.
I think they need to get Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh off TV. Have
Bye bye. Get them off TV.
pair Lethal up. Have him being managed by Jeff Jarrett. And I think you need to focus on the firm. I feel like Stokely
I think the
Hathaway, like,
firm, it's all. Here's what I think about the firm. Sorry for interrupting. But
it's all
with
good.
the firm, the more TV time they get, the more over they can be. You
Hmm.
can't just have them be, in like 2 minute attacks. You can't do that.
Yep.
You want them to get over, you have to give them more TV time.
Yep. And unfortunately, AEW, they only have 3 hours of TV a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
A lot of
including
people,
Dark and Elevation, which is
uh,
literally just matches, and they don't really push storylines, which I don't like about that. They should
yeah,
be
and
taking
I don't
advantage.
like if Dark Elevation have no like story build to it or anything like that. I don't know why they post like, the winners and losers or whatever on fucking AWTV and they talk
Hmm.
about it so much. It's just pointless to me.
I've been saying that for such a long time since
They need
Elite
to put
Life.
they need to put Rampage on Thursday nights, 8 to 10. Seems like a good spot. Nobody wants to watch fucking pro wrestling at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, especially if it's taped. I know
After
they've been doing.
SmackDown with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, with what they're doing right now, you're damn right nobody wants to friggin' watch
Bro, it's
Rampage.
just that's why I stopped watching it, not because WWE, because
SmackDown is so good.
they don't have Rampage is almost like, dark elevation.
The
It's
only
just
Rampages
matches.
that are good are the live ones, I notice.
Well, not even that, bro. Like majority of the matches are Ring of Honor matches. I don't want to see Ring of
Hmm.
Honor on AEW TV. And they have very little like, segments outside of just matches because they have to cram so much in an hour plus
Hmm.
commercials and everything. So like when you round it out, Rampage like without commercials is only like 45 minutes. You
Yeah,
know what I
no,
mean?
definitely.
So,
So, moving on now to our next match on the card for Full Gear, the AEW Interim Women's World Champion, Toni Storm, will be defending the title against Jamie Hayter. How do you feel about this match, Danny?
I'm looking forward to this match, man. I really am. But I hate to say it, man. So, I was thinking about this for a while, and there's two different scenarios I was thinking in my head, but it all depends on what matches first. Because obviously, like, at some point during the show, we're gonna be getting Saraya and Britt Baker as well. You know, is Britt Baker gonna do something to jeopardize Jamie Hayter to
Mm,
win the AEW title? And if
damn.
so, is that gonna lead into Jamie Hayter getting involved and teaming up with Saraya to take out Britt Baker and Rebel and her
Not
entire
gonna
crew?
lie, Saraya and Jamie Hayter as like being like paired up together, I can see that. That would be pretty freaking awesome.
So those are two scenarios that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think honestly we get Britt Baker and Saraya first,
They've been
and
te-
then
they've
and
been
then I think
teasing.
Britt Baker is going to screw Jamie Hayter out of the
They've
championship.
been teasing Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker splitting for a while, bro.
And now that she's going for the world championship, what better way for Britt Baker, because of course she's not getting the
She's
spotlight, and her
she's gonna be
character has
jealous.
always been known for wanting the spotlight. She gets
Hmm.
jealous and she turns on Hayter during this match, and that creates another storyline with Hayter and Britt Baker away from the women's champion, which I think Britt Baker, which I can't wait to get into her and Soraya's match,
Yeah.
because right now she is doing really good not focusing on the women's championship
Yeah.
and any title, because this is the Britt Baker we have been friggin' wanting for a long time.
I know.
Finally. So I think that what's going to happen, Toni Storm, she retains the championship, and Britt Baker is going to screw Hayter.
Yeah.
And Hayter finally turns face.
That's what I think is gonna happen. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think I mean, is it possible after the match, having Britt Baker and Rebel and her crew, whatever, storm the ring, and then having it be like one big brawl or whatever? Like I don't know.
Could happen.
They've been teasing the split between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter for a while. I feel like it's finally that time has finally come, bro. They've hit a ceiling. You know what I mean? There's only so much they can do. They
Mm-hmm.
need to start developing other storylines. And
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Hayter, I mean, I would love for her to, imagine the matches her and Britt could have.
It's
You know,
time.
all the months and all the years that Britt Baker has like mentally tore her down or whatever, and like, she can finally let out all that frustration, you know.
Build those two up all the way until Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot you can do. And I think if, Tony Khan can, get some storylines that are outside of the championship pictures, AEW can get some momentum again.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to get rid of Ring of Honor on TV. But moving forward now to our next match. Speaking of Ring of Honor, for the ROH World Championship, we have a fatal four-way match. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho versus Claudio versus Sammy Guevara for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I gotta say, man, like as much shit as us and a lot of other people talk about our Ring of Honor being on AEW.
This will be a
I
banger.
I wanna reiterate. We don't hate ROH. We just don't want ROH, to take TV time away from talent that's, AEW. That's my issue. This match is gonna be a certified fucking banger, bro. Like you have all these guys. You have Danielson, Jericho, Claudio, Sammy Guevara. If these, it'll be. There's no reason why these guys can't have a 7-star match. Absolutely,
And
bro.
can I add something too to what you said? You hit the nail on the head with what you just said. It's not the fact that Ring of Honor sucks. Having Ring of Honor on AEW Dynamite with only 2 hours of television time, you're taken away from guys like Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. And that's the thing about some of us AEW fans that are frustrated with Ring of Honor. It's not the fact that Ring of Honor, is, finally coming back. We're excited. We want them to get that TV deal so that,
Hmm.
we can focus on Ring of Honor as one brand, AEW as another brand.
Yeah.
This match is going to be great. And one thing I have not criticized is Chris Jericho's work as champion. I think he's done a great job. It makes sense what he's doing and why, he wants to be the champion. He wants to erase the history of Ring of Honor and change it. So it
One
all makes sense. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just AEW and Ring of Honor just need to be separate from each other.
one thing that I love, and I've loved this, for as long as I've been watching pro wrestling, man, especially when it comes to Chris Jericho. The dude knows when, how, and where to reinvent himself. He's not the same Chris Jericho as he was in WCW. He's not the same Chris Jericho as he was in the Attitude Era. He's not the same Chris Jericho, when he first came to AEW. There's been so many different reincarnations of the character, but all the elements are still there of his past characters and his past self, I guess you could say.
Well, having a career that's 30 years, first class Hall of Famer, of course, Jericho knows how to reinvent himself, and he's always done an amazing job doing that.
I mean, he was Le Champion. Now he's the Ocho. He was, the Painmaker. He was, Y2J. He was, you know,
Lionheart, Inner
Lionheart,
Circle,
Inner
Jericho
Circle.
Appreciation Society. He's
You're
killing it.
you just made the list, like just like
And a
coming
lot
out
of
with a
a lot of
suit
wrestling
and
fans criticize what Jericho's doing now. I say 5 years from now, we are all going to look back, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this last run Jericho's having in his career.
exactly.
And
You
it
know,
will be noticed.
not gonna lie, man. It's gonna be very when Jericho finally comes to time, and he's 52. He's in fantastic shape, you know,
Yes, he is.
but
Even my dad said that last night when we saw him.
being in fantastic shape, man, like there's only like they say in the business, and I'm not in the business. I don't want to speak for anybody in the business, but I've heard people
Yeah,
say
you
it
are.
and
You're a
mention it.
wrestling podcaster.
Well, yeah. But I don't take bumps. But you only have so many bumps on your bump card,
Mm.
and just because you're in fantastic shape doesn't mean your body can fucking withstand getting slammed on the fucking floor or in the ring or so we don't know how long Jericho really has. So we need to
Mm.
really appreciate the time that we have because there's gonna be a time, you
Same with
know,
Bryan Danielson, too.
there's gonna be a time to where Claudio, MJ, even MJF at some point, Moxley, all these guys, Jericho, I mean, look at Triple H. Nobody ever thought he was gonna I thought Triple H was gonna be a Ric Flair, bro.
Yeah, just like Edge, just like all these other guys in, WWE as well. We like wrestling as a whole right now, we are winning. There
Yep.
shouldn't be AEW versus WWE wars. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Ben.
Exactly, but like, like we gotta appreciate the time that we have with these guys because like we've watched them since we were little, and it's almost like they're family in a way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As weird as that sounds.
So now getting back on track with the match, my thoughts on it. I think that this is going to be a really good match. Definitely has the potential
Seven
of being
stars.
a show stealer. But now with this Fatal 4-Way, because of course in the past with, the Fatal 4-Way matches, anything can happen.
And I love how we have two members of the Blackpool Combat Club and the two members of, Jericho Appreciation Society with Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Danielson and Claudio. I mean, these guys are gonna have to fucking go to blows, man. It's gonna be very interesting. Now with the Blackpool Combat Club, they love fighting. I know
Yes,
they're
they
not
do.
gonna, Claudio and Danielson, they're gonna have no problem beating the fuck out of each other and then going out and having a beer later that night. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But how is it gonna be if Sammy and Jericho end up having to lock horns? That's gonna be very interesting.
I'm kind of excited to see that. So, who do you have winning this Fatal 4-Way match?
I gotta
Because
go with
anything
Jarrett.
can happen.
I gotta go. Anything can happen, but I gotta go with Jericho. I just don't feel like they've really, you know, I feel like they have like a long term idea for this, and I know the reason why they gave the title to Jericho is to make it more intriguing for investors or whatever to get a TV deal. Because I mean, who's not gonna give you a TV deal if you have fucking Jericho as your world champion? You know what I mean? So I gotta go with Jericho. If I
Mm-hmm.
if I had to pick somebody outside of Jericho, I'd probably pick Danielson. Danielson, I mean, he's put in work over the last couple of months.
Here's the thing. It's going to be, if it's not Jericho, it's definitely going to be Danielson. And I think what's going to happen, there's definitely more story to this that's going to lead to Final Battle in, December, because they need to have
Mhm.
something for the audience to, want to go to the show, to
Yep.
buy the pay-per-view. And I think that is where we are going to get the last match with Jericho and Danielson. And Danielson will get that moment. I think Jericho's going to weasel his way out of this match somehow, some way. Maybe
Mhm.
he just rolls up Sammy Guevara.
Maybe they come up with a plan. Let me roll you up real quick. Let's get the fuck out of here and go get food. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, you never know, because Sammy Guevara, he's hated, and that can just give him even more heat.
Definitely a possibility.
It's better to get a reaction than not get a reaction. That's, my advice to, Sammy Guevara, because I actually am enjoying his run right now as a heel. He's
Yep.
doing a great job. Moving on now to our next match. We have a steel cage match. Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus with Christian Cage.
I actually like this story, man. I like where this is going. And
You're probably the
when
only one.
it started off between Jack Perry and Jericho, obviously, or Christian. And Luchasaurus, obviously, who was Jack Perry's, best friend or whatever. This kind of reminds me of almost like remember when Kane and X Pac became best friends or whatever, and then X Pac ended up turning on
Mhm.
Kane, and
Yeah,
it
no,
kind of
but except this time with these two, there's more history because they've been,
yeah
together for a couple years since the company
yeah
first came started.
I know. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I mean, anything can go, man, when these dudes are locked in a fucking cage. Yeah, I mean, and obviously they're doing that so Christian can't be a factor, you
Hmm.
know. I
And
mean,
that's a good way to, keep him protected
is this
with
gonna
the
be the start
injury.
of is this gonna be a start of the build for Jungle Boy, or is this gonna be the start of a build for Luchasaurus being a singles competitor? I don't know.
Hmm.
I read an article the other day that Luchasaurus has some kind of an arm injury, so maybe Jack Perry wins this match and Luchasaurus gets taken off TV for a while. Who knows?
So my prediction for this match, I'm gonna tell you right now, storyline wise, it's gotten a little bit stale for me. And maybe that's because Ring of Honor, has been taking more time away from, this storyline with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. And that's why we need to get separate these two things. And I'm
Yeah.
going to try to stop saying that because I've been, I think, saying that like every match that we've been talking about. But overall, I think that this match is going to be great. Finally, we're going to get, maybe a closing chapter with this in a way. And I think Jungle Boy is going to get his revenge on Luchasaurus in this match, and there's nothing Christian Cage can do about it. And I think that this is going to be the best way to, finally give us an ending with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy because, of course, Christian right now is on, the sideline. He's injured, and I believe he should be coming back pretty soon. So now having Jungle Boy take out Luchasaurus in the cage, it gives Luchasaurus time to get his arm healed up off television so that,
Hmm.
Jungle Boy can get his hands on Christian. Because we definitely need a closing, thing with that before, Cage can move on, before Jungle Boy can move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match, man. Like I said, anything can happen when you're locked inside that cage. And I know, like, especially like with, I know how hurt Jungle Boy is, his best friend or whatever for years, ends up turning on him. And, the fact that Christian was bringing up, his father that passed away. Like, I know Jungle Boy has a lot of fucking hatred and anger inside of him. And we're gonna possibly see him unleash that, and I'm looking forward to it, man. He's gonna be this if this is like David and Goliath, bro. This is gonna be like the ultimate underdog, going up
Mhm.
against all the
And
odds.
that's where I was gonna get at. I have a test for Christian Cage.
Oh, you have a test?
I do. Because we have a big guy going against the little guy.
Hmm.
And we both talk about how things need to be believable and real.
Yep.
They need to make, if Jungle Boy is going to beat Luchasaurus, they need to make it look real. It needs to
Yep.
be believable. That's the only way you are going to be able to elevate Jungle Boy to the next level, is by making this thing believable. And that's my test to Christian. As a veteran who knows the business, I think that, they got to work with Christian on this and, make it believable. Jungle Boy needs to, friggin' grab a weapon or something in the match, which I believe in the cage matches for AEW, you can go under like the apron for like weapons with the way that they have their cage set. So I want them to like, put a pipe down there or like something for Jungle
Yep.
Boy to really let that anger out because you said it best. They were best friends. So like, like there's legitimate heat here. Why Jungle Boy is, upset, and we need this to be believable because right here, this is going to be make or break for Jungle Boy.
Exactly. And I mean, hopefully he shocks the world. And
I
you
want him to
know,
shock the world so bad.
I definitely like. I definitely want it to be a believable scenario. I don't want it to just be like, oh, Jungle Boy's gonna win, or whatever. It needs to be real. I want this to seem like a legitimate fight. Like these two dudes, Jungle Boy is so mad at this dude, he's just wailing on him. You know what I mean? That's what I
Hmm.
want. I don't want this to be some cheesy, bullshit cage match that nobody cares about in 5 minutes.
Yes, we need this to be violent. Who do you got winning this match?
I gotta go with Jungle Boy, man, just because like Luchasaurus, like, he's obviously, the odds on favorite, because of his size and how, his, agility and, just everything about him. But like I said, man, I feel like Jungle Boy, like, that's like, if your dad, passes away or whatever, and somebody, talks shit about him, and like you have all that anger and that hatred and that frustration, like you just want to unleash on that person. So I feel like Jungle Boy has like all he is in a way
It's
he's
time.
not
It's
on
time for
favorite,
him to
but
get a big win. He
he
hasn't
it
had that
is.
big win yet.
And I feel like this is definitely that time.
I agree. I have Jungle Boy winning this match.
Yeah.
Definitely. Moving on now to our next match on the card for Full Gear. We're getting there, guys. It is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, The Acclaimed versus Swerve and Our Glory. Here's something I do want to say about this match. And I think everybody's going to say this in their predictions video, so we might as well not beat the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve is going to turn on Keith Lee.
Yeah.
100%.
I
Swerve's
mean,
going heel.
it seems like that, over the last couple of weeks on TV, that's, the direction that they're going. It did, like, at first last night during Dynamite, I was like, why isn't Keith Lee coming out with Swerve? I mean, all the Acclaimed is out there and, Daddy Ass or whatever. Where's Keith Lee? And it just, he wasn't out there. So I'm like, oh, okay. I sort of know the direction that this is gonna go. And I don't think the Acclaimed are ready to drop the tag titles.
No, they are not.
No. So obviously we're both in agreement. We're both gonna go with, the Acclaimed. It's just the obvious choice in this scenario.
You know why we're going with the Acclaimed?
Why?
Because everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Bro,
Scissor me.
You should add fucking dad. What does it say on it?
Oh, right there, just the Acclaimed.
You should have had Billy Gunn sign it. You should have brought a
Scissor
Sharpie.
me.
You need to bring Sharpies when you go to those things, man.
Oh, my next meet and greet. Like, if I ever see Billy again, I'm getting. Oh, he's going to Zombie Hideout. Smart thinking.
So we both know the Acclaimed are gonna come out, victorious.
Yes, they are.
What?
Didn't you say? Oh, they were not going to be good tag champions.
Well, I mean, they haven't. They're over, but they haven't done. They haven't. I don't even think they've defended the title yet.
Yeah, they have.
When? I don't remember the match, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they got so much Ring of Honor on AEW TV.
Yeah, like, and that's the downfall. That's the downside of these champions. Like, you give these guys that are over as fuck, championships, and then you don't push them. You don't showcase them on your fucking TV.
But they've been showcasing them on their TV. Their characters are getting even more popular than they've ever been. Having Billy Gunn by their side is perfect. And literally, like, in the segments that they had, like the celebration thing, like, they introduced the phone fingers there, which,
Captain Insano last night during the music video.
Which I gotta say was absolutely brilliant with what they did, because they're advertising their merch, getting people to buy it. They have people singing, "Oh, scissor me, daddy." What they have going right now is you cannot end this right now, because they have the momentum right now, and we all know the Acclaimed, they are going to be retaining the tag team championships, and we already know what's going to happen. Swerve is going to turn on Keith Lee.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Now, my question to you, since we pretty much covered on who we think is gonna win, it's gonna be 100% fact. You guys can come back to this video after the show. What do you think? Keith Lee is gonna be up to after this as a singles competitor? Obviously, if Swerve turns on him, he'll obviously have a feud with Swerve. But do you see Keith Lee going after like somebody like Wardlow or possibly Samoa Joe, I guess, for the ROH television title?
I see Keith Lee setting his eyes on probably the TNT Championship.
I feel like him and Wardlow, bro, they're both big, but they're athletic as shit. I feel like they'd be able to have a banger match.
And they can just build that as a fun match, and that's how he wins the championship. That happens sometimes with mid-card titles.
They need, like, as much as I don't want them to, they need to get the title off of Wardlow, because they haven't been pushing him, bro. All the momentum that he had.
The last couple weeks, they have been doing very good with him. I will say.
Barely.
They've been having him wrestle matches, which is what we've been complaining about. And, he's
the
been
fucking
on TV
jobbers,
now.
Bro. That's the same issue I have with fucking Omos.
Okay,
jobbers.
well, with Wardlow, We just need the man to, just keep the momentum going, keep him on
Why not?
TV. Just
Why not?
not with anybody. He doesn't need
Why?
to be with FTR. He doesn't
Why
need
not?
to be with
Why
Sean
not?
Spears.
Why
Keep
not
him
book?
away
Why
from
not?
them.
Why not book a TNT title match, man? Fucking Wardlow taking on fucking Ethan Page, having Ethan Page get that opportunity. They'd be able to put on a hell of a fucking match. Like, why does Wardlow, this guy that had so much momentum after this whole MJF thing and the cage match, and Sean Spears, coming out in handcuffs every week or whatever, and finally him being able to break those chains, all the momentum that he had just went out the fucking window.
Well,
What happened?
I can tell you what happened, and it's unfortunate. As much as I love MJF's drama that happened that weekend at Double or Nothing, I think took away from that big payoff from Wardlow.
Yeah, but they were still trying to build him even after that, and then they just it's
Yes,
like
but
once he got the TNT title, Tony Khan just stopped fucking like putting forth the effort.
he should have been on TV a lot more. I
They could have
agree.
built the entire fucking company around Wardlow, bro. This dude has all the fucking gifts and all the fucking talent in the
Well, they
world.
got to continue keeping him on TV. He can't
They
be
need
off
to do
TV.
something.
It's just like the firm. They got to keep the firm on TV.
They
And
paired
this
him up.
is why AEW and ROH need to separate from each other because they're taken away from Wardlow.
They built up this fucking like this tag team war Joe or whatever. I don't even know if they've ever had a
Stupid.
fucking tag team match.
Yes, they did. They did a couple times actually on Rampage.
Exactly, on fucking Rampage. Nobody gives a fuck about Rampage, man.
Still counts though, technically.
I don't know, man. Like I see all these guys not getting the proper build, not
But come
getting
on,
the
the last
proper
couple
push,
weeks,
and
you
it's
have
just
to admit, seeing him on TV has been good.
yes, but
The
I want him.
Swanton Bomb over the friggin' ropes.
Yeah, it was good, but I want to see him in a prominent story, bro. I don't want
Well,
him to just
this is their perfect opportunity to do that. Which, we'll get into, Wardlow when, we talk about
yeah.
their match. But now with,
I've-
back to, the tag match with, Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed, who do you think is going to be up next for the tag titles with the Acclaimed?
I gotta go with FTR.
You think so? I don't,
I
you know something? I got something. So, I think FTR, they should keep them on the low for a little bit. Away, like, keep them on TV, but away from the AEW World titles right now
mhm,
until Revolution. Give the Acclaimed a big challenge against FTR at Revolution, and that's
yeah.
probably the perfect time for FTR to, retain the or get back their tag titles. And then I think right now what they should do after, this pay-per-view, I think that maybe we go back to the Gun Club versus the Acclaimed because
The
of
Gun
course
Club.
there's still a lot of, unfinished business over there with, their dad Billy being with them and
Yeah.
especially them pushing the firm, they now definitely could get better push.
But I mean, is that really a story that's necessary to tell right now? You know what I mean?
Could be.
Like
They did show up during the
Austin and Colton
celebration.
haven't really done much though. Like they haven't.
Except attack people, but also being serious, which is a good thing.
I don't know. I just don't necessarily know if I want to see that right now. I mean, maybe at some point.
Well,
I
it's
would
a
like to,
filler, but here's the thing: it's a filler until we get to
I
Revolution.
I would like to see it if it comes down to Billy Gunn reuniting with his kids. That's
And what if there's a swerve at at Winter's Coming or something? You never know.
but the Acclaimed are so over along with Billy that I wouldn't break them up anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I
But
would not break them up.
I'm saying
No.
keep this feud between the Acclaimed and Austin and Colton, on the back burner until it comes a time to where Billy Gunn, sneak
Yeah, but
attacks Max or Anthony Bowens and reunites with his kids.
yeah, no, like we'll just have to see. But there's definitely, they're gonna have to do some fillers if FTR is going to be the next champions.
Why not give I can't remember the fucking name. Um the fucking tag team that was with Andrade's group and Matt Hardy's group.
Butcher and Blade.
No.
That would actually be a pretty good,
Well,
filler tag team.
that would be a good
They're
match.
very talented. They deserve a push.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tag teams that friggin' they can definitely use as fillers. I do
Yeah.
agree. But they definitely need to find the right one. But now, we've been talking about them for quite a little while. So, moving forward now to our next match, we have a triple threat match for the TNT Championship. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
There is no reason why this match shouldn't be a banger. Having these three monstrous fucking grown ass men.
I'm happy Joe turned heel. He
I
does the
will say,
best work as a heel.
I will say, bro, like outside of MJF, he's the best one on the microphone currently. Like last night, I believed in everything he was saying, bro. Like, does that make sense, Tony Schiavone? Like, he just had conviction in his fucking voice, bro. And it just, like, I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe it's getting me a little bit invested in what is actually going on. And then I remember like the poor booking decisions, and it just comes back down to it. This show, you have to remember, you have to admit, bro, like compared to a lot of past AW
Of
pay-per-views,
course.
this show had the worst fucking booking on the planet and the
Yes, no,
worst
I,
build.
I, I agree. And then the last couple weeks, they have been, picking up the slack a little bit. And unfortunately, like it all comes back to AEW and ROH. I'm not going to explain that again.
Yeah.
But with this triple threat match, honestly, it's going to be probably one of my favorite matches of the night. All three of these guys are very talented. You have
Mhm.
Samoa Joe, who's been a vet in the business for over 20 years, who, is going to be a big piece in Ring of Honor when they, get a TV deal.
Yep.
Wardlow, friggin' right now, he's getting a little bit of momentum back slowly but surely. And then you have Powerhouse Hobbs, who has a very bright future in this business, which in a recent, an interview before CM Punk, joined AEW, that was one of the names he mentioned that he wanted to work with was Powerhouse Hobbs, which he did on a random episode of Rampage. And
Yep.
that's just how you know Powerhouse Hobbs has a bright future. If a guy like
Yep.
CM Punk, who wasn't in the business at the time that he said this thing in an interview, is praising you. So all three of these guys, I think, are going to, have great chemistry in the ring. And I want Wardlow to retain the championship because now Tony Khan has a chance to redeem himself after Full Gear. Keep Wardlow on TV. Let him, keep doing matches on TV and keep having him on there, creating
Yep.
chaos and
Yeah,
being a
like
defending champion.
there's a lot of guys weekly on AWTV that I'm like, I mean, could this match, have should it have been on Dynamite? Could it have
Mm-hmm.
been on like Dark Elevation or Rampage or whatever? Didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily need to be there. And I feel like there's a lot of
So
room.
many scenarios in this match. Like
There's a lot of
I
scenarios.
would not be mad if Powerhouse Hobbs won.
Yeah.
That would be really good for him.
That would give him a momentum. I just, whoever wins this match, I want them to keep the momentum and just strive and just go for it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
just
don't know though if I want Samoa Joe to win, only because he is the ROH television champion. And I don't know, I really just don't want like somebody, holding two titles.
yep. I don't know, man. If I have to say right now who I want to win this match, um I would have to go with Powerhouse Hobbs. Just because I feel like maybe he'll do something different with it that Wardlow hasn't done. Wardlow hasn't really done much. I got to be honest with you. As much as I like the guy, I don't just don't keep the title on him if he just because he's fucking likable. I want it to make sense, and he has like the way TK has booked him. It just hasn't made any fucking sense. Like this guy has so much momentum. You could have built outside of MJF and Moxley and Punk at the time. You could have built this entire fucking company around Wardlow, and it's just they dropped the ball with it.
Mm-hmm. And I think, with Wardlow, it didn't help that they had him reunite with FTR. That didn't really help, I think, FTR or him at all. But I will say, this is a step in the right direction for the TNT Championship because I do see Tony Khan is trying. Because we
Mhm.
have been getting TNT, open challenge matches again, which is a great thing because that's how the TNT Championship became so prestigious in AEW. You had Cody Rhodes, doing these open challenges with everybody for the TNT title. That's how we got Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks and
Mhm.
had a lot of classic matches through that. Even Darby Allin, that's how he won the championship from one of those open challenges. I
Yep.
think if Wardlow, if they can take that recipe from, what they did years ago and, just tack it on Wardlow, Wardlow will get over as fuck again, and the TNT Championship will be prestigious once again,
I
which is what
feel
the
like
fans want.
I feel like TK has booked himself in a bubble. I feel like throughout the last year or so, he has hired so many people
Mm-hmm.
that he doesn't have the amount of time to showcase all of them. He has a stacked roster, but only so much time to showcase them all. So I feel like he's sort of put himself in this fucking bubble, and it's gonna be very hard for him to get out of.
Sad but true. I will, say that. You are absolutely right on that. So you got Powerhouse Hobbs, I got Wardlow for this match.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with Powerhouse Hobbs. It wouldn't make with Samoa Joe. I mean, if he wasn't an ROH champion, I would probably say
Oh, yeah,
him.
he'd be the favorite. Yeah.
But it wouldn't make sense for him to have the TNT title. So
Especially with Final Battle coming up. You're going to want Samoa Joe to, do something. And unfortunately, like after Full Gear, it's these Dynamite episodes are probably not going to be good because we're going to be building the next couple weeks for Final Battle, which is, going to be like
I mean,
drenching.
not gonna lie, man. The last ROH pay per view that I watched was pretty fucking killer.
They're good. They just
They
need a
put on
television show.
great shows, man. But
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I'll be watching Final Battle. Definitely. So now moving on to our next match on the card, we have a dream match. We have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus the returning Saraya.
I wouldn't necessarily call this a dream match. I mean, for some people, it might be. I didn't know I wanted this match until recently. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing Saraya beat the hell out of Britt Baker. I mean, if that counts for anything.
I am very excited for this match. Probably one of, besides the MJF World title match, this is probably my second match I'm very excited for. And I think that these two have done an incredible job building this match up. I really loved the face off that they had last week on AEW. Probably
Mhm.
the best women's segment in AEW history. And I
Yeah,
think that, if Saraya has not missed a beat in this match, which, Saraya, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're not, I will not try to put as much pressure on you like everybody else is. She said something on the Chris Van Vliet podcast about like how she feels like she's going to be under a microscope, but she's ready
yeah, I
for
gotta
it.
watch that today.
I think that this is going to be probably the best women's match in AEW. Has the potential. Because, Saraya, she, has been in the business her whole life.
Yeah.
She started wrestling friggin', I think, at like 14.
Somebody in my stream said last night that, they put a scenario. What if like Saraya's mom or like somebody in her family, brother or dad or whatever, sort of get involved somehow? Like,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know. It'd be kind of,
I don't think something like that's gonna happen.
I don't know. Because they would have,
TK's not thinking that far.
nah, TK would have to put them under like a 1 day contract or whatever it is. And like, there's so much insurances. And even though her family are performers, I don't think they've ever wrestled in the US. I don't think.
Yeah, UK only, I think.
So,
But
you
I
know,
think that this is going to be a great match, and I'm very happy that we're finally getting Britt Baker not in a world championship match.
yeah,
Finally, because she needs to, get away from the world title and, go back to where, she once strived. And she strived a lot during, when AEW didn't have a crowd. She did, her promos, and she really stood out of, the rest of the women on the roster at that time. And then, she had a great women's world title run, but then again, it got very stale. And then, she lost a lot of momentum from that. And now, I think with this feud with Saraya, because of how excited everybody is to see Saraya back, including myself, it's definitely given Britt Baker an edge. And it's
Yeah.
definitely given her, I think, an opportunity to show what she, like, why they gave her the world championship and why she has been the face of the AEW women's division.
But you also got to remember, bro, like all that stuff about Britt Baker's absolutely true, 100%. Not gonna take anything away from her abilities and what she's accomplished.
Nobody
But
should.
when it comes to Saraya, she hasn't competed in like 6 years, 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, who knows how much she's been training? It just came out very, very, very recently that
She's
she
been
was
training a
cleared.
lot for this match. She's
It
been, because she
there's
lives
a
out in LA right now. She was talking about this on the podcast,
there's a yeah, but
and she's been training a lot.
there's a difference between training a couple hours a day and just going right in it. A bunch of a crowd and just there's just it's a lot different than just training.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And every show before Dynamite, too, she goes in the ring. She does the rope run, she does her bumps. So she has been getting herself prepared, which is great. And I think with
I hope
and
she
her
is prepared.
talent caliber, I think that she definitely, will go in there, and I think that she's going to, do a great job. Because
Yeah.
remind you, she's not old either. She's very
No.
young still. She's just turned 30.
Yeah, she's I'm older than her, so
So, who do you got winning this match?
I gotta go with Saraya. I just feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would have her lose her first match back and, all this time or whatever. And she had, like, with that promo that she cut 2 weeks ago, she just has so much momentum, going into this
Mm-hmm.
match. I mean, Britt Baker could stand to lose, and especially if Jamie Hayter becomes a factor in, like we were talking about earlier on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. I think that Saraya is going to beat Britt Baker, but Britt Baker will look very good in this match. I think that these, two women, they're probably going to wrestle a 15 to 20-minute match. And I think that this really, has the potential of being one of the best women matches of all time in this promotion.
I think so too, man. It's gonna be a showcase. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's a showcase.
All right. Well, our next match before we get into the main event, we have a tag team match. Sting and Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Um, I like the pairing between Sting and Darby. I mean, they just
Love
mesh
it.
very well or whatever. It's almost like, Darby being Sting's little brother. You know what I mean? It's like they have that kind of like dynamic. It's almost like they're the same person.
They have such
Um,
great chemistry.
but I also like Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of chemistry, from their time in Impact and TNA and stuff like that. I believe Jeff Jarrett said that he's the one that signed Jay Lethal to his first TNA contract. So there's a lot of history there. Plus, when Jeff Jarrett and Sting were both in Impact, like there's just a overall between Sting, Jarrett, and Lethal, there's a lot of history there. Darby
Mm-hmm.
Allin is sort of like the new guy in the fold. But I'm looking forward to seeing like how this story progresses, what happens. I have to go with Sting and Darby on this. They're just my odds-on favorites to win this match. But after this show, are they going to continue? Is Jeff Jarrett going to continue to be in Jay Lethal's side? What's going to happen between Sting and Darby? Is Sting and Jarrett going to have a one-on-one match at some point? I'm just looking forward to seeing what they do, and I hope they make compelling television.
Here's the thing. I think, this is going to be a very good match. You have four very talented, professional wrestlers in there. I'm very happy to see Jeff Jarrett back on TV. And I'm very happy to have him a part of AEW because of his, experience behind the scenes and stuff. And I think
Hmm.
Tony Khan definitely needs to have a guy like Jeff Jarrett, by his side to really help him, fix AEW and some of the bad booking decisions.
Yep.
But now, from, the match perspective, I love the chemistry with Darby and Sting. I have been a big fan of the two being paired since Sting debuted in AEW and had that stare down with him.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because even behind the scenes, I saw a recent article, about Darby, going to Sting's house. And, Sting, like, is really not in AEW to collect a check. He's there, like, he actually genuinely wants to make, Darby better. He wants to make the promotion better. And he's always been, a workhorse.
Darby's
And
like Sting's little brother. That's like
he
the
is, and it's amazing to see, like, Sting, even the first time they interacted. Sting wanted to see Darby's, his match highlights and promos and
Mhm.
everything. And they ended up, getting closer than a lot of people thought they were going to, do.
This stage in Sting's career, I don't think he would just work with anybody.
And I think he's having a lot of fun doing it because he was only supposed to do cinematic matches. And now
Yeah.
we finally, we get fun matches like this on, pay per view, which is awesome. And I think that this is cool as well. As an old OG TNA fan, seeing Jeff Jarrett and Sting going at it again, I really hope we get the Jeff Jarrett guitar shot at Sting and Sting doesn't sell it, because that was always something I remember Bound for Glory when Jarrett, defended the NWA title against Sting.
Hmm.
And, Jeff Jarrett smacks the guitar. Everybody's like, you have Don West going, no, not again. What the hell? But Sting, standing up and no sells it. The crowd goes nuts. And then, Sting gets the win, puts the, Scorpion Deathlock on him. I'm very excited for this match, for that old TNA nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that Satnam Singh is not involved
Oh,
whatsoever,
thank fucking God,
because
bro.
he is probably the number one worst wrestler in, the top 500 worst wrestlers. He's definitely number one. Omos is number two. I always say that. And I feel like they need to definitely, after this pay per view, please, Tony Khan, please move forward with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and cut the dead weight.
Yep.
Freaking shove that pencil up freaking Sanjay and Satnam Singh's ass, and, put them on, like, Dark and Elevation. You can keep
I would
Sanjay,
put them.
keep
I would put them in
Sanjay,
Impact.
actually keep Sanjay with Satnam and just keep him on Dark and Elevation where nobody gives a shit. And
I'd.
then keep Lethal with Jarrett.
I would put Sanjay and Satnam Singh on Impact. I would release them and put them. Have them go to Impact.
Yeah, no, I would want that too, but Sanjay Dutt is a really good producer backstage.
Mm.
That is something that I will say. He did a really good job in WWE. A lot of people, praised him, and in AEW, he's done a pretty good job too with the producing. But now
What
on
a,
screen, they've definitely fumbled it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so much. I remember when Jay Lethal came in, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Lethal's in AEW. He's gonna be such a huge fucking big deal." And he wasn't. He was seen once in like 3 months, and then they paired him
Hey,
up
I will
with.
say, as much as I hate Satnam Singh and, Sanjay Dutt, I am very happy to see Jay Lethal actually getting important wins and, being on TV.
Yeah.
I will say that. That's one good thing. But now, in this tag match, I do have Darby and Sting beating them. I think that this is going to be a very fun match, and it's going to be cool to see Jeff Jarrett back in the ring. I love how, he has the My World theme song, too.
Yeah, that's his.
So
That was his team.
nostalgia.
That was his TNA theme.
I love it. So now, the match prediction that I think all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs have been waiting for. If you have, been here for the entire, pay-per-view prediction, let us know in the comment section below, because you are a real trooper for sitting here for, an hour and 15 minutes hearing
Hey,
us,
man.
give our thoughts on,
They're
the
real wrestling fans,
predictions.
just like us.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, me repeating myself every other match talking about Ring of Honor and AEW, how they should be away. If you have stuck by this the entire time, you're the MVP.
Let us know your
Our
predictions in the comments section.
let us know in the comment section. But our main event for Full Gear, the match that everybody has been waiting for, Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against the Devil, MJF.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman, man.
He's
Let's
better than
fucking
you, and you know it.
let's go, man. This is the match everybody has been talking about. Everybody that's a pro wrestling fan, a pro wrestling journalist, a pro wrestling podcaster, any kind of content creator of any kind. This is the match that everybody
Hey,
has been
real
waiting
quick.
for.
You give your thoughts on, you give your thoughts on this. I'll give my thoughts on this. Then we'll pick who we want to win.
All right. So I love. Obviously, this wasn't the original match that was planned. We all know that because the whole media scrum incident or whatever. Moxley was supposed to go on a 5-week vacation. He's mentioned it quite a bit. I feel like he's very upset over him being missing his vacation. Um, but I like the story that they have been building. Now I have heard the possibility of Regal turning on Moxley and joining MJF. I mean, they've been hinting at that, with, obviously MJF's tryout at WWE and just like, all the promos or whatever. So that'd be very interesting. I mean, imagine Regal and MJF. Like MJF, let's face it, doesn't need anybody to speak for him. But I feel like having somebody like Regal in your corner, I feel like it gives you that much more momentum, especially when you're the champion and you're MJF, bro. It's gonna be insane.
When I saw that, article, my mind was blown into a whole nother universe. I really think that MJF with William Regal will be just as big as Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine the insane reaction that would get if that happened. And honestly, I would love to see that. But now my thoughts on, Jon Moxley and MJF. Not gonna lie, just like every other, maniac out there, I wanted to see MJF and CM Punk
Hmm.
because I think MJF, beating CM Punk for the AEW World Championship would have been huge.
They had so
But
much more story to tell, but
unfortunately,
unfortunately,
the media scrum happened. I wish that the Elite and CM Punk and, all these people can just all kiss and make up and, friggin' focus on AEW and, keep putting out the best product out there because this whole
yep,
drama has taken away a lot from, AEW. But when it comes to Jon Moxley and MJF, I do gotta say they have done a great job to make this feel like a big match. Very excited. And anytime MJF is working with somebody, the storytelling is on another level and you are intrigued as a viewer. The storylines he had with Cody Rhodes, when he freaking low blowed him a couple years ago at Full Gear, and they had a great storyline going to Revolution. MJF and CM Punk, probably the best feud in AEW history. They did a great job with that dog collar match. And MJF has just proved time after time that he isn't a Miz 2.0 or an
yep.
EC3 wannabe. MJF has solidified himself as a GOAT, a superstar,
I
a
would even
rare
go. I would even go as
superstar.
far as saying the dog collar match between MJF and CM Punk is one of if not the best match AEW has ever produced.
But now back to what I was saying, and the best word to describe what I just said about MJF, he's a generational talent.
Mhm.
And he's, proven it time after time. If you watch his matches,
And he
he did
watches
a
our videos.
yes, he does. He's a We Are Wrestling Maniac. He said it himself on our latest vlog. But with, MJF, he has shown time after time that he is one of the best in the business. He put on, a great match, years ago with, Jungle Boy. He's also, had a great match with Darby Allin. I believe that was last year at Full Gear when them two, went
Yep.
at it. And MJF, has just shown time after time that he's a generational talent. And I really believe that it is MJF's time.
It definitely is, man.
And I think you and I both know, and we both definitely have the same opinion here. MJF is going to be the new AEW World Champion.
No doubt in my mind, bro. No doubt in my mind. MJF is walking out of the Prudential Center with the AEW title. That hunk of gold right behind you is going to belong to the GOATs.
I really hope that this is happening, because if this does not happen, and I already said this, but I'm going to say this again, I really hope We Are Wrestling, you clip this to, all the social medias out there. If MJF loses this match against Jon Moxley at Full Gear
We riot.
2022, I lost all hope for All Elite Wrestling, because MJF's time is now. And literally, anybody on that roster that has grabbed the brass ring, it is that guy right there, MJ friggin' F.
He's carried the company on his back, man.
And now is the time to give this man the world championship. And I really think, especially, in this crazy crowd at Full Gear, William Regal handing MJF the brass knucks, not the diamond ring, the brass knucks, hits Mox. 1, 2, 3. That will be probably the most craziest moment in 2022 in professional wrestling.
It's going to be a historical moment in pro wrestling, man.
And then Mox, can take a break. He can go on his vacation because they can sell it really well. And I really think having Regal with MJF, this could really take off to a whole nother level. And I think, especially with Blackpool Combat Club getting their backs turned on him, Wheeler Yuta, he's going to be very pissed off about it. Bryan Danielson's going to be very sad because he looked up to, Regal as like a mentor. Claudio, he's going to be very upset.
Bro,
as
that'll
well.
be 2 times this year that Danielson gets his heart broken. First by Daniel Garcia and now by William Regal.
Honestly, this is the best thing that can happen for AEW is if they pair Regal up with MJF, because this really has the potential of being a Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns thing in AEW. Roman Reigns, let's be honest, he's gotten way better at cutting promos in, WWE now with this whole tribal chief thing with the bloodline, and he doesn't need Paul Heyman. But it helps having Paul Heyman by his side. You know why? It makes Roman Reigns stand out even more. And that is exactly
it gives you
what
that much
William Regal would do for MJF. And also, even having the firm do the side dirty work for MJF on the side, that's basically a bloodline, technically. Not technically a bloodline, but I don't think that should happen. But it seems like there's something involved with, Stokely and MJF.
I don't think MJF is turning on the firm. I think it's all a work, bro. If you saw the punch last night, him doing that fucking like cartoon punch or whatever.
No, but that's what I mean. I think like the firm is going to be a big factor in this whole like story. And I think having Regal as the final piece, that is what's really going to elevate MJF. And I think that they're doing all of this because MJF, the man is a megastar. He's a generational talent.
Yep.
And in WWE, Roman Reigns, they're pretty much doing something very similar to Roman Reigns, but different in their own way. Because Roman Reigns, of course, has the bloodline. MJF is going to have the firm. Of course, I'm not going to, debate on, which one's better. Because we all know the bloodline is a lot better. But
with Sami Zayn.
MJF is going to have the firm do his dirty work for him. Roman Reigns has the bloodline do his dirty work for him. Yep. They both got great mouthpieces. Roman has Paul. MJF will have Regal and even Stokely sometimes. This is going to be a huge moment in this company if they can pull this off.
And it's going to give MJF that much more credibility when it comes to like him surrounding himself with somebody as legendary as William Regal, bro. Like, you think MJF is good now. Imagine when he's with Regal. Like, he'll be on a whole nother fucking stratosphere.
It's going to be absolutely nuts. And I really think that this is the best thing that can happen for William Regal as well, because he's done a great job with the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
But now let's get that inner villain back in William Regal and have him with the devil himself. Because MJF has been, teasing. What does he always say?
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think he didn't exist.
William Regal.
And I mean, Regal hasn't, like, he comes out with Moxley, but he hasn't really been involved in like Blackpool Combat Club kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I'll be right back.
Alrighty, well, I'll close this off. So Full Gear is going to be a great pay-per-view. I really hope they do, give the title to MJF. But let us know in the comment section below what your predictions are for AEW Full Gear 2022. If you enjoyed this pay-per-view prediction video, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The links are down in the description below. You can go follow Danny and I on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. And I recommend you guys to, go check our social medias out because we're very active over there. We're posting clips of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show over there, which new episodes come out every Saturday. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.